Also, if there happen to be any airplane or wind noises coming in here, I have the windows open because it's really, it's hot in here. It's just approaching spring. There you go. Anyway, hello there. My name is Marc Lovallo, and you know me here, Super Smash 3DS. But on my other channel, I am the director, producer, and co-writer on Eddsworld, the movie. And that's a big fan project I'm doing with a whole bunch of my friends, including Billy Crinian, Talzin Charles, and Anthony Reese. And yeah, I'll have a link for that somewhere down there. Some of you probably know me because of that, because that channel has like, I don't know, like 10 times as many subscribers as this channel does. So, yeah. Anyway, as some of you might know, Billy and I got to contribute to the last episode of Eddsworld, known as The End. And I said in the latest update vlog on the Eddsworld movie channel that I would talk about, I'd make a video about how Billy and I got involved with that huge episode that I'm sure all of you loved so very much. And here it is. Appropriate timing, because today is when The End Part 2 comes out. I just watched it. It was really good, by the way. Fantastic. And it's also the 10-year anniversary of the launch of the Eddsworld YouTube channel. So, anyway, let's get started, shall we? Ooh, it is, hey. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I got my Eddsworld t-shirt ready. It says, broccoli. And, so, I'm ready. Oh, and I got my Coke, as always. I'm a Coke addict. So it all started back in September of last year, I think. I received an email on the Eddsworld movie Gmail from Eddie Boley, the, well, former producer of the show. And he'd seen the minisodes that we were doing on our channel. And he basically just said, we have a sequence for the End Part 1 that we think you would do phenomenally at. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he said phenomenal. And indeed. So the sequence we were given was basically going to be a flashback to the opening of 25 Feet Under the Seat. That's of course that's when Tord leaves. And so of course I agreed to do it. And so I got Billy involved in this as well. What first happened was Eddie gave me a PDF file of the script for that sort of sequence. And it was just that. And then it was my job to come up with storyboards for that sequence. And I did. Then I sent them to him, and he gave me a whole bunch of notes. The first thing he said was that he liked the first thing that went into the trunk of the car was the blue suitcase. He liked that. That was a nice touch. But everything else needed to be redone. So he gave me notes on how the sequence was going to play out. He gave me a soundscape. And from that, I created new storyboards for that sequence. And I sent them back to him, and he approved of them. So we were good to go there. And the next thing he did was he sent me the original flash file for 25 Feet Under the Seat, which was just mind-blowing. The first thing that popped in my head when I was going through that was, wow, Ed made all this. He did all these assets. He drew all these characters. He drew all those backgrounds. He tweened all those motion tweens and everything. So it was like I was carrying a piece, like a personal piece of Eddsworld history. So that was insane. And from that, I still have it, but I haven't shown it to the public, which, you know, I'm really good at keeping secrets. So from that flash file, I managed to use the assets from the opening to... I'm just going to do this every time a truck or a motorcycle goes by. Knew we should close the windows. It's hot! It's hot in here! Anyway, from the original flash file, I created an animatic for the sequence using my original storyboards and the original assets from 25 Feet Under the Seat, like on the characters, models, or sprites, whatever you want to call them. And I made some of my own assets to go along with them. Like I did the assets where Matt's holding up the memory eraser gun. Oh, by the way, anybody notice that the memory razor gun is supposed to look like the gun from Zombies Ate My Neighbors? I thought that was a really nice touch because I knew that was one of Ed's favorite video games, and I thought that'd be a very nice touch, and it was. And so I put all those assets together, and I made a little animatic with the tweens and like the way the characters move. Like they would do that, you know, not really moving, just kind of the whole body just leaning forward. That's classic Eddsworld motion tweening right there. And so once that was done, I did a whole series of different versions for that sequence because I didn't know what exactly the guys were looking for, whether they wanted it in like the widescreen format or they wanted it to be like in the box, like the 4:3 ratio. I did do a 4:3 test to see how it looked, and in that there's a sequence where there's a little part in that where when Tom's running into the house, he actually bumps into one of the black bars on the sides because it's so weird to see that in the box instead of like going widescreen. But we decided to settle on the widescreen version. So once that was done, I sent the animatic over to Billy for him to work his magic because he's the real animator in our team. When it's me and him doing Eddsworld animation, I pretty much put everything together. I make all the assets and everything, but he is responsible for making them move in the way that they do. So it's my assets, but his animation. That's our contribution. So he finished that, and then he sent it back to me so that I could clean up some of the motion tweens and make it look a bit smoother. And then we sent it off to Eddie, which bugged my camera. He sent it off to I sent it off to Eddie, which he approved, and then we were good to go. And so that was that. That's what went on with the flashback sequence. A lot of interruptions today. Oh well. And yeah, so we finished that, and we thought that was just going to be the end of it. No pun intended. But we were wrong. Because to our surprise, Eddie and Tom gave us the opportunity to serve as animators for the end part 2. Which was pretty insane. Because that was like supposed to be the last Eddsworld episode. And so that would have been our last chance of contributing something to the show in whatever way we could. So we agreed to do that. When we signed on to do part 2, that was a really interesting experience because with part 1, Eddie was just like, do you want to do the sequence? And we were like, yeah, and that was that. But with part 2, we actually had to sign a contract that legally bound us to this project. So we couldn't tell anybody that we were on board. We could only keep it between us and the producers. And we had to. We couldn't really sign off out of it. Not that we wanted to get out of it. Why would we? And that was a really interesting experience. That was actually the first contract that I ever signed for anything. And surprisingly really easy. And it was fair, and it was easy to read. I read the fine print, as most people tend to forget when signing contracts. And so that was that. Then Eddie sent me the soundscape for, basically we were really only given one scene to do for the end part 2, and that was the post-credits sequence. You know, when the Sinister guy is using the rat puppets to tell the story of Eddsworld to the kids. And so that was really the only scene we were given. But we were cool with that, because at least it was something. So he sent me the soundscape for that, and then I did a little animatic for it. It was totally different from what you saw in the episode. Well, I'm assuming everybody saw it, if you're watching this video. It was going to start out like a close-up on the Sinister guy, and then zoom out to show the kids, and then pan over to John, the ghost. But I thought that would have looked nicer, personally. But the end result, I think, looks definitely better. Then our version, the version that Eddie gave us instead. I sent the animatic over to him just like I didn't finish the animatic. I just gave him like a rough idea of what the scene would look like. and he had his own idea. And at first I couldn't quite understand it, but he explained it to me. Then he explained it to me in a way that I could understand it much easier. And so I took those notes and I made a new animatic where it does like the close up on the rats. And there are some notes where you can see that there's some text on that reads like dangle near the rats to show that the rats are supposed to dangle. We also got to sneak in a cameo from General McCoy, the main villain of the Eddsworld movie. Behind Ghost John, you can see there's like a poster, like a little picture of General McCoy in front of an American flag. So I guess that technically makes the Eddsworld movie canon to the show, which is absolutely absurd. Yeah, once I did... I'm going really off tangent here. You see, Tom, this is what you do to me! Because we did that interview, and he went off tangent a lot in that, which was good because I like hearing him talk, but now I'm going off tangent, so I'm one... Anyway! Okay, what else is there to talk about? Once I finished that animatic, I sent it over to Billy, again, to work his magic, and then we sent it over to Eddie, and he approved of it. Yeah. Of course, there were some changes made to it. Like, I guess Billy had to make some changes to it, and then send the new version to Billy. I wasn't really aware of what was going on. I just knew of the version that I thought we sent off, which was a one with This is one of the disadvantages of living right next to a highway. So anyway, that sequence was done, and we got paid. When we finished those sequences, and I thought that was going to be it, but then after Tom emailed me about the last two Eddsworld comics, Comics 199 and Comic 200, he gives me this really surprising proposition, and that is he's basically like, we have a sequence at the opening of the end part 1, where there's like a whole bunch of Polaroid family photos of some kind, and they're all like recreations of classic moments from older episodes, and would you like to draw them? And when he said this, I was like, I don't care about the money. You're asking me to make an even bigger contribution to this episode, and I'm like, I am all for that. And so I did. Some of the episodes I drew snapshots for were not all of them, but some of them included Hello Hellhole, Ruined, Spares, Moving Targets, Zombie Attack 1 and 3, what else? I already said Spares. Santa Claus, which didn't make it in, Towards Adventure, and Zombie Nation, and there's one more that I'm missing. It's in there somewhere. Never mind. But yeah, I did those snapshots, and it was really fun to just pick out all those classic moments from those episodes and just recreate them in my sort of mix of Eddsworld and my styles. And I got really specific with the details on that. Like in Hello Hellhole, Matt never wears a hoodie in that episode. He just wears that gray t-shirt, and so I put him in that gray t-shirt for that still. And in the first Eddsworld Zombie Attack, Tord doesn't wear his red hoodie. He wears like that big collared gray jacket, and so I gave that to him in that snapshot. There are even some details that you wouldn't notice unless you saw the original stills in my DeviantArt. In the Zombie Attack 3 still, which like got just a brief second of screen time. That's the one that goes over the end part 1 logo and goes to the sequence, goes to the episode. Excuse me. That's the Zombie Attack 3 still, and in that still, there's a brief cameo from one of my friends, Ewan, on the left. He's the zombie in the dark red sweatshirt and the gray spiky hair. And there's also a cameo from a zombie that looks like Pal. This guy. This really hilarious but awesome drawing of Paul. I made this into a zombie for that still, and you don't really get to see him, but he's there. Trust me, he's there. And I drew all those stills in as much time as I could. Because it was funny, because at the same time I was doing those, I was coming up with the music for the Halloween special from 2007. So I was doing all these different things back to back. And I did the music for the Halloween special in like an entire day. I had to power through that as much as I could because I spent so much time on the drawings. And Eddsworld has just made me the busiest and at the same time most happiest. The happiest I've ever been in these past few months. I've been really happy about this. And the end parts 1 and 2, for me personally, I'm not speaking on behalf of Billy, because I'm sure he'll have something else to say. Working on the end parts 1 and 2 for me was the most exciting, nerve-wracking, and frustrating experiences of my life. Because I was contributing to the final episode of my favorite web series ever. This show that I've been a fan of for 8 years. You done yet? Okay. This web show that I've been a fan of for 8 years, and I get to work on it. If I could go back in time and tell my 11-year-old self that this would happen to me, his face would probably melt like the villains in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And yeah, that's it. That's the story about my involvement with Eddsworld, and I'm sure Billy will have his own side of the story too. So, if you want to check out the end parts 1 and 2, let's see, I can put a thumbnail here for part 1 and a thumbnail there for part 2. Yeah, I can do that. And there's also the Eddsworld movie YouTube channel somewhere around here where my effeminate moving hands are. So you can check all that out. And if you want to see, you know, I should just stop talking. I really don't have anything else to talk about. I guess all I could say is to the people at Eddsworld, Tom, Paul, Matt, Eddie, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for allowing me and Billy to be involved in this. This was an incredible experience. I hope we get to work on more projects together in the future. Time is running up really low. I'm going to stop talking. That said, this is Mark, aka Super Smash 3DS, bidding you all smashing farewell. And live on Eddsworld. I don't know. Bye.